Ask that again.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
No.
It was an honest answer.
Okay.
It was an honest answer.
Yeah. I just
We probably disagree with you pretty deeply on that. But thank you.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Today I have Charlie Kirk and Vivek Ramaswamy dealing with woke college students. They really shut them down. It's really, really sad. Poor young people just got shut down by some other young people because Charlie Kirk and Vivek Ramaswamy are still young. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Now let's get into it.
Disagreements, yeah.
I like that. It's a very interesting sign. It says right in Biden. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. We'll bring him up in a little bit.
How are you doing? My name's Kunj. I'm a first-year voter as well this year. I'm an independent. I'm not left or right yet, but I'm just wondering where your underlying values at as to why you became a Republican. Like, what are the morals behind it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not a great example to ask because I'm not a politician by background. I'm a businessman. I ran for U.S. president last year as a Republican. But I said this countless times, and it might have annoyed some people in the party. I wasn't running as a Republican. I'm running as an American. Okay, and that's actually what I care about are our pro-American values. Where do I derive my values as a political leader in the country? It starts with the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. I believe the people we elect to run the government, even if they're the ones I disagree with, the people we elect to run the government should be the ones who run the government, not the unelected bureaucrats who put up puppets as their U.S. president. I'm pointing to Biden. He's not even running the country right now. We call him the U.S. president. He's not the functioning U.S. president. That's not a democracy. I believe in merit, that the best person should get the job, free speech, open debate. And so all I'd say is if you want to call yourself an independent, that's a pretty good thing to be. Hard to argue with being independent-minded. But stand for the values enshrined in our Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. And if there's a point in the future, 50 years from now, where the Republican Party abandons that, then I'm not a Republican anymore. I'm sorry. The Republican Party actually was the party that stood against slavery back when Abraham Lincoln was president, and it's a party that stands against enslavement today. But if that ever changes in the future, then I'm out of the Republican Party. I'm into the pro-American movement. And the reason I vote and stand for election as a Republican is because right now that is the pro-American party in America.
Yeah, and I'm a conservative and vote Republican because I think the founders got it right. I think the founders understood human nature. I think that they understood the form of government, and they understood that people are best served when liberty is recognized as given by a divine source, not as a government source, that decentralized power is best, that 3 branches of checks and balances and consent of the governed is the correct way of governing a country. The conservative movement understands and appreciates our roots going back to 1776 and trying to ask the question, are we leaning into the founders' vision of this country? And so those are the values that I hinge upon.
All right. Thank you.
We should give that guy wants to be heard.
All right, he'll come up.
All right, have a good day.
Yeah, he wants to be heard. Just 1 second. We're gonna give him a chance, or else we may be here.
I know. I feel like I got to stay for at least. Yeah, I got you. I don't know if you guys can see my sign there.
It's fascinating. Right in Biden.
Yeah, it's a new movement. Me and my roommate have started really trying to take it off here. Stuff like this. Okay, I see. Yeah, I think the Democratic Party turned their back on Joe Biden way too fast. It was like overnight. One night, they were all supporting him. The next night, I look at Twitter, bam, no longer voting for him. He lost the ticket overnight. Nothing's more undemocratic than that.
I thought it was going to be a disagree.
Thank you. I totally agree. And so I guess you're more liberal leaning, probably, maybe.
I'd say most of my ideals align with Joe Biden.
No, that's fine. And why do you think that Democrats, saying they're the party of democracy, were able just to remove a candidate? That should bother more people, right?
Well, I think it's not necessarily something with the Democratic Party. I think the Republicans would do it as well. I think it's just an issue of the two-party system. Honestly, that's my...
So, look, Charlie and I share this in common. We're not afraid to, and have not been afraid to, criticize the Republican Party when necessary.
Right.
I just think in the political system right now, overall, in general, what do we have? You got a bunch of puppets who are wielded by the managerial class, including a mega donor class,
Sure.
that uses politicians as pawns. You see it in the Democratic Party, you see it in the Republican Party. We're in a unique moment in the history of the Republican Party. It wasn't this way for most of my life.
Right.
But we're in a unique moment where the person who happens to be the Republican nominee is independently a billionaire and is at least, you may disagree with his policies, but he's at least not somebody who's controlled by that machine. People may not like him for a lot of reasons, but what I think is one of the things we probably share in common, because I could tell from your sign, is, I said it before, I'll say it again. The people we elect to run the government should be the ones who actually run the government.
I fully agree.
And Joe Biden has not been given the freedom to do that. And I think if we agree on that much, call that an agreement rather than a disagreement.
I think the issue is, though, although Donald Trump is a billionaire by his own right, if you look at, FEC versus Citizens United, the Supreme Court case, Donald Trump's also getting an insane amount of money from private donors. 501c's.
Kamala Harris is actually getting far more. I mean,
I know. It's like what?
More.
It's like 300 million to 200 million.
No,
I don't think it's 5 times more.
It's 5 times more. It's not even close.
I don't think that's true.
Either way, if you want to get mega money out of politics, I think you're going to find some allies here in thinking about ways to do that for the system.
You're only looking just a kind of a wonky thing. It's more than what Open Secrets reports. However, I think this is an admirable crusade.
Thank you.
And we're going to publicize it on our social media channels.
That's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, I think it's a unique movement. I just wish more people would consider Joe Biden for 2024. I think we turned our backs on him way too fast.
Okay.
I'd love
What's
to
your
see
name,
more.
man?
I'm Ryan.
Ryan? What's your last name?
Ryan Farah.
Ryan Farah starting a movement. Let's see how he does.
He's trying to change the world.
Thank you.
See, Joe Biden really didn't want to go. And I did a video about he really is mad at Kamala and wants revenge. He is not happy. Joe Biden is mad. Okay. The way it happened, because he did not perform well at all in that debate. I mean, and Donald Trump just pounced on him when he mumbled a little bit, and he was like, he don't know what he said. And then the very next day, they were just for him, saying Joe Biden's all right cognitively, he's doing well, and all of a sudden he performed bad, and they turned on him. That is the very essence of a threat to democracy, is what the Democrats did to Joe Biden. They say that the Republicans, well, they really say Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, but it's not true. He's the opposite of what they say he is. He is not a threat to democracy. He does not want us to be a socialist country. He is not a communist. He is for freedom of speech, freedom of religion. He is for freedom. And they hate that about him because he's standing in the way. He's literally putting his life on the line. He really is. And so Joe Biden is ticked off about this thing, and he was treated unfairly. I don't like Jim Crow Joe. I don't like anything about his policies, what he stands for, his history with the crime bills, his association with a former Klansman by the name of a senator. I think he was a senator from Tennessee. I'm not sure, but Senator Robert C. Byrd, who has since passed. He spoke at the man's funeral. He has too many connections to racism and all sorts of bad things, and the policies are horrible. So and then Kamala Harris comes along. She has connections in that way as well. I see what is happening to this country. And Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, he is not run by the rich bureaucrats behind the scenes. He's not run by them. He makes up his own mind. He's independent thinking. He is not controlled by the machine. And see, that's why they really don't like him. They're trying to make him look bad because he can't be controlled. They want puppets. He's not a puppet.
That was lovely talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm Julia. I'm also a first-time voter. I just have a simple yes or no question. If the only way to ban abortion forever would be to bring back slavery, would you do it?
No.
No?
No. I wouldn't bring back slavery to try to limit murder. No.
Okay.
But what kind of outrageous question is that, by the way?
I'm just curious. Just yes or no.
Can I ask you a question then?
Sure.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
To say that again. Ask that again.
If the only way to limit human suffering is to ban abortion, would you ban abortion?
No.
It was an honest answer.
Okay.
It was an honest answer.
Yeah.
We probably disagree with you pretty deeply on that. But thank you.
When does life begin in your estimation?
I just wanted to ask a yes or no. That's it.
No, sure. But when does life begin?
That's all I wanted to ask was a yes or no. That's it.
Okay, I could tell you thought deeply about this topic.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Great. Yep, next question. I know it takes a while it takes a couple hours. Yeah.
Hello. I have a disagreement with you guys. I believe that the Electoral College is unjust and should be abolished. And
Okay,
Mr.
so-
Ramaswamy, I believe, since you ran for president, I would like to hear from you first.
Sure. So I think this is a common. I know this is near and dear to Charlie's heart. Okay. Let's start with that. Well, I think that is a great question to ask, Charlie. I like that. Let's start with that, so I make sure I'm responding to the question. What is the definition of justice?
Okay, so we talk a lot about like DEI programs and that sort of thing, and people being, unjustly put into these like positions. I believe that the Electoral College is DEI for the Republican Party, where Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, but lost the presidency because of the Electoral College, because it empowers rural states more by giving them the electoral votes.
Do you believe that the Senate is unjust?
I believe the Senate needs to exist.
Okay, so because that's the whole principle, is that we don't just live in a direct democracy, we live in a constitutional republic. And that means a few things. First is it means that we are really a union of states. We're not just a random assemblage of geographic landmasses called states that we call a union. That means something where part of it is direct representative democracy, but part of it is also making sure that states actually have a relative say in the process. That's how you get the Senate versus the House to balance it out. Same thing with respect to the history of the Electoral College. This is about making sure that we're being thoughtful about the step of who's actually the U.S. president while channeling the democratic will through the manner enshrined in our Constitution. And here's the biggest difference between a republic and a democracy. This is relevant to a lot of young people. Is in a constitutional republic, it's not just about what you get, right? In a democracy, you get a vote. You think about what does it mean to be a citizen, about what you get. In a constitutional republic, it's also about what you give. It's about your civic duty to your country. And I think that part of what our founding fathers envisioned is we had voters who actually knew something about their country. Every legal immigrant who comes to this country has to pass a civics test before they can vote. Well, frankly, the sad truth is most voters would fail that if they took it today. That would make our founding fathers roll over in their graves. And so I think that we got to get beyond this idea that we're some kind of direct democracy. We're actually a republic where people have responsibilities and states actually have some level of distributed say to make sure that two cities in New York and California don't govern who actually leads the entire United States of America.
And see, that's what I don't think people realize. They looking just at the vote, the number of votes. But New York and California would always decide the election, and they're left leaning, and all the other states would not have a say. The way it is set up right now with the Electoral College is best. She's saying it leans Republican. No, it doesn't. It's made to be fair. This is the best possible setup that we currently have. If it's not broke, don't fix it. We just got to make sure that the elections are safe, free, honest, and secure. That's what we have to make sure of, that everybody is proper vote counting and all of that, no manipulation of anything. That's all we have to do, which I'm praying that's the case. You know what I mean? But people say these things. I don't even think they realize, they don't think it all the way through. So clearly she wanted Hillary Clinton to win. She wasn't able to vote back then. But anyway, she's in college. She wasn't able to vote back then. But in any event, it's set up right, because the rural states, the more conservative areas like Alabama, Mississippi would never have a say, would never have a chance. Most of our country is rural. I don't think people realize that. These certain urban areas would always make the decision, just like he said. And you see the mess California is in. You see the mess New York is in. So we don't need them to decide, because they can't even decide for their own state, let alone the whole country.
I will push back. Look at the current battleground states. The blackest state in the country is getting a lot of attention because of the Electoral College. Georgia, one of the most black states in the country, North Carolina, is getting a lot of attention.
Atlanta is one of the biggest metro areas in the country. It would get attention whether or not they had the 16 Electoral College votes.
But
the Republican Party has a cushion. They have states like Wyoming that nobody lives in.
Let's be
It's
consistent.
3
Well, okay.
electoral votes.
First of all, 700,000 Americans live there, so let's not talk down to our fellow citizens.
Okay, but why does their vote, right? Why does their vote go farther than mine, who's from Texas?
Hold on a second. Rhode Island and Hawaii are small, and that helps Democrats, right?
Yeah, I think that's bad too.
Okay, got it. But it doesn't just help Republicans. What it does is it requires candidates, as Vivek aptly put it, to have a preference on states. We are not a national project first and foremost. We are a collection of sovereign states that come together as a national project. And the founders wanted a decentralized way of doing elections. And I think it's actually a really good thing that this state, which is incredibly diverse, very difficult to be able to win, will determine the entire election. I think Pennsylvania is a great picture of the country, and you guys get a lot of attention because of it. Now, you say in Texas, well, in Texas, it actually might become a battleground state one day. The thing about the Electoral College is that certain battleground states rise and certain fall. Ohio used to be a battleground state. Now Arizona's a battleground state. Georgia never used to be a battleground state. Now it is. Florida used to be. And so what the Electoral College does is it forces candidates to go into places outside of the coastal corridor and win over voters of the people that actually make the country work, such as Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, and Michigan.
It doesn't answer the question, though, why somebody's vote in somewhere like Wyoming, which has 3 votes for 70,000 people, versus Texas's 700,000 versus Texas's 38 for 30 million. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's actually proportional, though, because
no,
it is proportional. Because, okay, then would you get rid of Wyoming as statehood? To be consistent, should Wyoming exist as a state?
Absolutely.
Well, then,
but their vote should be the same as mine.
So I got a solution to this, and it's
abolish the Electoral College.
Well, it's not the one that I made. It's the solution that our founding fathers made, which is that if we don't like that, the United States of America, we got a way to change it.
Yeah,
it's a constitutional amendment. So
you agree with me?
I don't agree with you because I wouldn't vote for it. But if your view is that this is anti-democratic,
I love my
there's
country.
a way to change it. Where if 3/4 of people in this country wanted to change it, that would change in an instant. And so there's a mechanism to go through it. So just like the gentleman earlier who was founding a movement, there could be a movement that says we want a constitutional amendment to abolish the Electoral College, but they haven't managed to convince enough people in this country that it's worth it. And the reason why is there was actually a justification for it. Turns out that most people, when they think about it, actually do land where Charlie and I do on a popular vote basis across the country. That wouldn't be a weighted vote, by the way. So you're talking about actually overturning it through the constitutional amendment, then Wyoming doesn't actually get more votes. You're talking about just 3/4 of the overall states and 3/4 of the vote in Congress, which is.
Yeah, she's being schooled right now. Poor thing, she's being schooled. You guys that want this whole popular vote thing over, abolish the Electoral College. No. We're not abolishing the Electoral College. I pray we don't ever do that. I pray, we got a lot going on in this country. We might not have anything if things keep going the way that they're going, if the right person doesn't win. But I thank God, I believe Donald Trump is going to win the White House, and he will be inaugurated January 20th, 2025. And I'm thankful for that. But I need you guys to realize that the world, the way it works, we're a collection of states, sovereign states. We are a constitutional republic, not a democracy. And states get to decide all the voters in that state get to decide what they want. And that's like the abortion issue that the Democrats keep saying that Donald Trump is going to do some federal abortion ban. He sent it back to the states. Okay. And each state, those voters vote on what they want. We should keep the Electoral College. There is no way we should let New York and California always decide elections. Okay. I already said it. Their states are a mess, and the whole country will be a mess. And if you keep having these Democrats in office right now, it's going to continue to be a mess. And I said it. And I want you guys to realize it. Okay, we got an election, okay? We got to be serious about this thing. We got to get out there, vote early, make sure you selecting the right name, make sure that the machine didn't do something funky or wonky, okay? Get out there and be a poll worker. Keep your eye out if you see anything suspicious. Yes, we got to get out here and do the right thing. But thank you guys so much for watching me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, the United States of America. And as they always say, march on, warriors.